All right, guys, it's my teacher video for Tuesday, November 3rd. It's going to be a very short video because it's so simple and sweet what you have to do for today. Well, actually, you're doing this over the course of 2 days. So we won't need another teacher video for tomorrow because we're doing the same thing today and tomorrow. So if you have looked at our slides for this week, I am going to school. I'm in Schoology and I'm going to a course, going to the unit plan folder, the standard level skills folder, and I'm clicking on November 2nd through 6th. I'm going to Tuesday slides. So I just want to flip through these real quickly with you. So it does not say it on this slide. I failed to add it in my title here. This is our bell work, but if you have looked in the updates on Schoology, then you know that bell work is optional this week for my virtual students. It is only mandatory for my face-to-face students. However, if you are a virtual student and you submit bell work, I will grade bell work. So, and you can't go back and say, well, I didn't want to do that. So if it's not what you want to do, then please do not submit it. If you want the practice, but you don't really want to submit it, that is fine as well. All of your bell work this week is on using context clues. If you've been looking at the slides, you know that that's our skill focus for the week. Okay. So today in class, we took guided notes, and you can find these guided notes in Tuesday's folder. The yellow box here on the screen shows you how to get to your guided notes. And if you follow along with the slides, it will be no problem in you completing your guided notes, because on every single slide, there is an arrow pointing to the box in which you need to write, okay? So like this first slide we're on the standard slide, and so the arrow points to the standard box. So you would simply copy the standard from the gray box into the white box on the guided notes. All right, and then when you move on, you see the definitions. Let me go back for just 1 second. So notice on this standard that we only have really just the first part of the standard highlighted. This week we are focusing on RL.7.4. We're talking simply about word meaning. So we're not discussing the entire standard. If we were to discuss the entire standard, we'd be talking about connotation as well as figurative language. This week our focus is just on word meaning, on you being able to read a text and determine what a word means as it is used in the text. Now, connotative is highlighted and underlined here because next week we will talk about connotation. We will not talk about the latter part of the standard until a couple of weeks from now. So you have just 3 definitions that we will use this week and next week. So you want to write those definitions in the important words and definitions box. You see where the blue arrow is pointing. Now, when you get to this part of the guided notes, notice that I have screenshot pages 1 and 2 of your guided notes. So on the bottom of page 1, you see a box that says context clues. At the top of page 2, you have a box that says the same thing. Now, I have a video from Khan Academy that's on this slide, excuse me. So you're going to play this video and listen for the information to fill in the blanks for both of your context clues boxes. Now, this video is a video, so you can pause and rewind as you need to. You can turn on closed captioning so that you can see the words as they're being spoken, and that can help you fill it in. But it's super simple, super easy. You just may have to listen really closely, and you may have to rewind in some spots, okay? The questions do go in order of the video presentation, okay? So they don't skip around. So just listen straight through on the video and rewind and pause as needed. Now, on the very last box of your guided notes. You see where I have some instructions and a table there. That is practice for you. So you see those three pinkish or salmon color arrows. So here you are going to read the sentence, okay? And in each sentence there is a word in bold, and so I want you to read the sentence, and using only clues in the sentence or context of the sentence, determine the word meaning for the word that is in bold. You will write that meaning in the middle box, and then in the far right box you will tell what type of context clue you use or that sentence has, okay? And so remember, you will see this when you watch your video, that the acronym IDEAS gives us the 5 types of context clues. And so you will use one part of IDEAS for each of these statements. And the other thing that we did in class today, and we'll complete tomorrow, is we started reading chapter October. All of my classes are in different spots. You just would have had to be in the virtual to know what spot they were in. And that's not important as long as you are reading at home, okay? And so we're going to go to the reading guide together. Remember that the PDF book, it should be in PDF cabinet if you have followed my instructions. Last week we had instructions for downloading the PDF book. That PDF book is in the standard skills folder if you have not downloaded it. You can follow the path on the screen to get to the reading guide. You're going to go to Schoology and your course and click on the unit plan folder. Click on the standard level skills folder. Looks like I skipped a step. You then click on the November 2nd through 6th folder. And once you click on Tuesday's folder, you're going to see a link that says October Reading Guide. So I am going to exit Tuesday's slides. And I'm in the Tuesday folder here. So I'm going to click on TWW October Reading Guide. You see that is a link. So I'm clicking there. It forces me to make a copy, so I'm clicking make a copy. All right, so I'm going to exit out of here and open this in my slides. Let's see. All right, so here we are, copy of TWW Reading Guide October. Okay, so you see my thumbnails at the bottom. So thumbnails are just the smaller pictures of the pages included in the slideshow here. So page 1 is an analysis of characters. And so we have 4 characters: Holling, Holling's sister, Mr. Hood, and Mrs. Baker. And so for each of these characters, we are going to break down what we learn about that character in chapter October, okay? So we'll include with that things that we have read in September. So basically, there is a question for you to answer each of these items, okay? So you'll just click in the box and enter down, and you're able to type in the boxes. So for Holling, your question is, in chapter 1 or chapter September, Mrs. Baker was presented as Holling's problem, meaning he said that Mrs. Baker hated him. So I'm asking you, what new problem or problems does Holling discover in this chapter, chapter October? Use textual evidence to support your answer. For Holling's sister, we're asking, Holling's sister clashes with her dad a lot. Why is that? You may use information from chapter September to help support your answer. So Holling's sister and Holling's father are continually at odds with each other. So I'm asking you, why is that? Why can't they get along? Mr. Hood. Mr. Hood seems to be a man on a mission. What is this mission, and how does his goal impact his family? And then we're down to Mrs. Baker. Holling has told us a lot of things about Mrs. Baker. She is evil. She doesn't like him. She plots against him. His view may be biased. So if you're unsure what the word bias means, then you really should define that word. You need to understand the word bias in order to understand his view may be biased. What emphasis can you make about Mrs. Baker? Use evidence from chapter October alone to support your answer. So I'm not asking you what Holling has told us about Mrs. Baker. I'm asking you what emphasis can you make about Mrs. Baker. So these types of questions are called hot questions because they require you to think beyond the text, okay? So you're going to take what you read and put it with what you already know and your own experiences even to make some inferences and draw some conclusions and make some analyses about these different characters. Now on page 2, we have 4 different vocabulary words, and these words will be familiar to you because you have been using them to practice on vocab.com. So we have pulled these words straight from the novel. These sentences are in the Wednesday Wars. So without looking up the word, without going to vocab.com, we want you to read the sentence, okay, and use your context clues to tell the meaning of the word. So you will simply come to the document, double tap in the box, and type what each of the bold and the highlighted words mean. Now, in this far box over here where there are no words, the question asks, what clues in the sentence led you to your definition? So basically it's asking, what is the evidence for the word meaning you have typed in the second box, okay? So you're just using evidence to support your definition, okay? Giving evidence to support your definition. And so the reading guide is due tomorrow. I know in class, my face-to-face students will get the opportunity to finish in class. And so the reading guide is due tomorrow. So my expectation is that you will read chapter October. I hope that you read part of chapter October today. Chapter October is 44 minutes if you are listening to it. The link to listen is in today's folder. It's in Tuesday's folder. And so you are welcome to listen to it. If you would rather not listen and read, that is fine as well. Just go to your PDF book to read the text for chapter October, and just make sure that you get at least, I would say, a third to one half of chapter October read today, so that you can have time to finish tomorrow and work on your reading guide. All right, so this is our teacher video for today, Tuesday, November 3rd. And remember, there will not be one for tomorrow because we're doing the same thing. We're reading chapter October and continuing with our reading guide. All right, guys.